going? It's Grant
And Shelby.
of the Garden of Eater, and today we're just going to have a general discussion. Ask us anything, help you out with your shrimp tanks, give you some advice on maybe what shrimp to get in the future, what fish to keep, what plants to add, whatever it may be. We don't really have anything planned. It's been quite the week, and we pretty much drove through the night home from Louisiana last night. I don't want to point any fingers, but I'm blaming Steven. It's his fault. The company was just too good, lost track of time, got away from us, and the next thing you know, ETA was 7 a.m. And so we got home, had a little bit of sleep, but we have family from out of state in town and had to get up, and it's been a day. We got some packages out. We also took care of some turtle water changes since it's so hot outside. But we also had our trip from Louisiana at the Federation of Texas Aquarium Societies. And we are going to briefly go over some of the highlights from that as well in between the questions.
So Justin said hello from Shippensburg, Pennsylvania. What kind of shrimp is that? Must be a new breed for them.
So that is an extreme red King Kong, and it is showing what is a very confusing trait as dragon's blood because that's the name of another shrimp. But to be fair, the red King Kongs that showed the red that was so deep and dark, and the pigments basically merged together to make it look black, and that is called the dragon's blood trait as well. You can have it on red Tai Bees, you can have it on red Pintos, as well as the red King Kong. So that's all it is, but that one is super, super dark, and one of the nicer ones that we had taken a photo of. But it's not that new, but it's definitely the darkest one we've ever had.
The coolest is we used to have these pure red lines that were so dark and marbled when they were younger. I kept trying to breed those out to have that darker pattern. So it really looks really pretty with the red shrimp with the darker, like a black combination to give it that dragon's blood. So I was trying to be like the first person with pure red lines that had like it looked like dragon's blood in the pattern on the top. But every time they matured, they lost that color, never kept it. But when they're like juveniles, you can still see some really cool spotting. So
And we get some of them also in our fancy red tigers, and it's called something totally different, and I forgot it already.
the coloration in the fancy red tigers,
Where
like
it's
the metallic?
red and black combined for them, but it's really where the red got so
pigmented.
dark that it looks like it's red and black.
Yeah.
But it's also predominantly white, so it's only got that on the striping.
So Jeremiah Cox says, hi, Grant and Shelby. Glad to be back in the shrimp hobby. We are glad to have you back.
Yeah, absolutely. I noticed your the order the other day, and I was like, it's been a while. But yeah, we picked it up. What did I miss, Toop Dog? You missed us. I was looking forward to seeing you in Louisiana, but I understand.
Cassie said you missed it. Grant sang the song Lunch just like Billie Eilish. I have no idea what song that is, and I'm a Billie Eilish fan. That's the funny thing. And Abstract said, oh, I miss Grant singing. He's actually not too bad. I mean, I enjoy listening to him sing. If it was bad, I would definitely tell him to stop, like when he ruins the songs. That's only when he remixes them. But it's not that bad.
Agreed. Remixes are usually better than the originals. She just doesn't want to give me credit.
I feel like me and the kids are the only person who's ever heard you sing in life, though. Like, he will never sing in front of anyone else.
No. Hold on. Not Mark from Miami, but Mark that used to work for me. There was that one night with the Twisted Teas where I was definitely remixing some good alternative rock songs, and they were hilarious.
Yeah.
It was worthy of talking about the next day at work. So I do recall that.
Tube Dog said I have family from out of state. That's why I couldn't make it this weekend.
Yeah.
Um,
What happened here? Why is that
I
like
don't know.
that?
There's
Our
a lot of
house-
things that are like messed up.
There is some things out of
No,
place.
you did that because you took the suction cup.
Or maybe it just fell. Because I feel like I would not have left something like that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't left that way. It's because you took the suction cup that gravity took a hold
Fair enough.
and is now leaning.
Fair enough. But now explain the drawer to the fluval stacker tank.
Your dog? That was super easy.
From the inside.
What do you mean? Yeah,
It's
it has a
one thing to-
handle. He is literally obnoxious, and when Dante
Wow.
comes in, I guarantee you gives him all the lovin's in the world because Shrimp's a big squishy dog that he just got too excited and hit it like really hard and knocked it off.
I don't know. I feel like Dante would have like picked it up, put it back.
Or then it was when someone came up to our door or something. But yeah, one of the drawers to our fluval cabinet was off when we came home, and we're just confused. So Angel says, how long does it take to nearly perfect a breeding line of shrimp, starting from a culling batch of like blue bolts?
So it really depends on the line you get. It depends if you're pulling them out of like shadow pandas or something like that. But like it's gonna take years. Like I've been working on our blue bolt line for 8 or 9 years now, and it's still not perfect. So
It's really what you're trying to achieve too, because coloration to me usually comes faster instead of like pattern. If you're trying to do pattern, that can take even longer, and it really depends because you really can't force shrimp to breed together. You could try putting them in a box and just doing it that way, but most of the time it doesn't. Most of the time people don't want to put 2 shrimp in a breeder box and try to make them breed that way. That could speed it up a little bit more with genetics, having better. But like say you start out with some basic medium grade shrimp, it could take 2 to 3 years just to get the pattern you want, or coloring could come in like a year. All the babies could come out with the right coloring, but you're still going to have so many culls too.
yeah, it just like depends. Are you culling them off of high grade blue bolts, or are you culling them off of like red King Kong, black King Kong mix tank? But like I said, we've been breeding ours for 8 or 9 years, and I don't think they're perfect still. So
Yeah, and the blue bolts, I love them so much, but they change so much with different water parameters to lighting to comfortability. Just like that's some people will take their shrimp and they'll put them in the contest, and they're like, well, why do those don't look like my shrimp anymore because they're so super stressed out. They'll lose like all their pigmentation, and that could happen. And from our tank, they can look like deep dark blue. And then I put them in another tank in our own house, same water parameters, and they look a different color. So it's real strange.
ours have been doing a lot better though in the higher TDS, higher GH.
Back to you. Sorry.
So pretty much we started off our trip on Wednesday by packing everything up. Big shout out to Robert at Ray Aquatics.
Robert, yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Shout out Ray
Might be a
Aquatics.
little bit off this
But
week
Robert-
too. Apologize in advance.
I drove through the night, got maybe 4 hours of sleep. I'm still exhausted, and it was really broken up sleep too because I noticed the sun was up outside, and I couldn't wait to get outside to check on the turtles to make sure everything was all nice and everything was looking good and taken care of and no issues at all, so I could actually go back to sleep and get some actual sleep. And then I got a phone call, and then I got another phone call, and I was like, I'm not going to get any sleep today, so let's just get going. But we got a heads up from Robert that there wasn't going to be a lot of people at this show. Not an issue for us. Like, the amount of people at the show does not determine whether or not we go to it. We go to plenty of clubs where they fly us out, and there's only maybe 24 to 40 people turnout really doesn't matter for us. When somebody's covering my hotel stay and expenses out there, usually we'll even cover our own food because I bring the kids and Shelby. And this time there's even like another one of us technically. So um, it was really nice that we got the heads up just because planning ahead of time. I was kind of planning for like 1,000 to 2,000 people. We were about to place a decent size order through the website. Nothing too massive, but like I figured Aquashell is around the corner. Whatever doesn't sell, we'll just be able to throw in a tank and be able to keep it healthy, no problem. So we got the heads up though. Didn't make an order through the website or through the nursery. We had plenty of plants, lots of Anubis and Crypts that were super healthy from the last show still. I think between our own mistakes and Crypt Keepers' experiences, I'm not going to call them mistakes, don't worry. Got you. But no, it definitely helps when you relay information back with one another. And I think we figured out like the best way to keep most of the Crypts, except for like I was talking with Stephen P. There's like no recipe for pink flamingos on how to do those successfully. And what we figured out is I just literally take them and put one into 15 different tanks when we get them from the nursery. And like 3 of them will melt and probably never come back, or maybe one of them will be like green or something like that. But the other 12 are usually like super pink. And it's a hit and a miss on the tanks. They'll change up sometimes. It's never the same tank that kills the same 3 of the Crypts or anything like that. So the mutation, it just isn't that stable, and it's helped out. So we had some of the healthiest looking Crypts I think at any show we've ever had. We didn't have any Java Fern or anything like that, but I did bring the Bulbitis. It hurts. I still feel like a part of me is missing. But we can get more from the nursery. It's just that was like the cleanest batch that we've gotten to actually grow in the tanks, and it was fluffier than when we had actually bought it. So they got nice ones if you bought any of the Bulbitis at the show. And
Kristen got the last 2.
We barely had any moss left over, so I donated that to the auction. The Fotis Club was good to us. They pretty much covered an extra night at a hotel because we couldn't be there Friday that early without driving through the night. And we try not to do that. But, when we're hanging out with great people like Stephen P. and Jenna, it was kind of worth it, especially because, like, the first night, the kids, they've got 2 kids. We've got 2 kids. They're near the same age, like a year apart on each of them. And we thought, on the first day, the kids kind of were playing shy. And then by the end, the boys were talking video games, typical. And then we went out to dinner the second night. And Layla kind of warmed up and started talking with Zachary. And then the third day, the boys had teamed up and the girls were off in their own room. And Layla wanted to hang out because it was her birthday even extra longer. So we let that slide a little bit. Instead of driving through her entire birthday, we spent the majority of the time hanging out with a great group of friends that we don't get to see all the time. So it's nice that the kids meshed really well. And they added each other on Messenger, and then also SC Katalula messaged us and asked for the girls' Messenger because his daughter and our daughter really kicked it off at the last show. And Layla keeps going, "Is Bristol going to be at this show?" And I'm like, "No, I already told you." But there's 3 shows in North Carolina potentially. No, that was just this year. Yeah. So 2 shows next year and a show in South Carolina that I think he was at last year too, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm sure she's going to tag along if we're going anywhere near the Carolinas.
Yeah, she's definitely
or Louisiana.
Social. Yeah, Jaden said that Louisiana is like one of his favorite places, so it's just so funny because Jaden doesn't. I mean, we've been to a lot of places and we've had really good times. So for him to like say Louisiana above Colorado when we like went to waterfalls and hiking and like had a lot of fun in Colorado, but I just don't think they don't remember it as much. But as Stephen P. said, I can't believe y'all aren't sleeping. Yeah, we didn't get in until 7 o'clock this morning. So we're a little tired for sure. We definitely got a good at least like 5.5 to 6 hours of sleep. So
And then
it wasn't too bad.
I remember now what I
Yeah.
told I was gonna give you crap for on the stream. Like I knew there was something, and I was like, what was I supposed? Now I know what it is. We get to ice cream. We find a place because when we got there on Thursday, it was after 9 o'clock, and we know this curse. All good ice cream places close at 9. Okay, so not all of them. We did find good ice cream in Dallas. Downtown areas are the exception, but in
Yeah.
little small towns, they close at 9. So we settled for Marble Slab, which wasn't really selling. We'd never been there before. It's very much like Cold Stone, Stone Cold, Steve Austin ice cream. I don't even watch wrestling. Why would I even say that? But it was great. I didn't even get ice cream. I got sorbet. But anyways, Steven goes, yeah, get whatever you want. Ice cream's on us. And I'm like, who does this? You usually wait for like the waiter to come, for someone to like
We always pay for ice
ask or
cream,
anything
so
like
it
that.
was out of the
He even like do that, and then he beat me to it again when we went out to dinner. So
spoiled us.
I made sure that
rotten.
we took him out to ice cream though, and we paid for it. So, but the hospitality overall, we ended up going to their house on Sunday. We got
Their
to check
tanks are
out
so cool.
all the aquariums. First of all, they lied
Jealous.
to me too, and said that no, these are all the tanks. We don't have tanks in every room like you do. And I was like, that was a little mean. But then they had tanks in their kids' room too. So I was like, you're hot, you're holding out. And then I was like, what's really like rare and exclusive in these tanks that they were holding out? And I didn't see anything. I don't know what I missed. Maybe there's something like a really super rare plant that like I should have known
the whole
about.
thing from you.
But no, the tanks were beautiful. Like I'm not just like tooting or brownie nosing or anything like that, but the Planet
Your
Aquariums
toes are so weird tonight.
the Planet Aquariums at their house were some of the most beautiful aquariums we've ever seen.
Made me want a rainbow fish tank so
Yeah.
bad. So bad. It was gorgeous. It's their Planet tank in their room. Absolutely to die for. Like I could just stare at it all day. Like even Layla went in there and went and checked it out. But the boost alone,
So
that thing was crazy.
The two tanks in their bedroom, the puffer fish tank, and the two tanks in their living room. I think there might have been more than two tanks, but the two good tanks in the living room. Those were like, I can't think of anybody else's aquariums in a house that I've seen that were
Incredible
nicer
Planet
than those.
tanks.
Even if they weren't like scaped with a purpose, they were jungled and
right.
you
That's
know
what made
I
them
mean?
better.
Yeah.
Is that they weren't in like an aquascape. Like obviously you're looking at a perfectly planted tank. Like you know what. But for someone that's not like intending, they just like enjoy plants and taking care of them and their fish. Like they were like a gallery styled tank, and I was like, these are. You could just stare at it all freaking day, and like the lighting made the rainbows look even cooler. So I'm like, these are and rainbows to me. Like a lot of people have this general opinion that rainbows are ugly, and I'm not the only one. A lot of people in our club think it. They all know there's color, but generally when you're staring at a tank, it's not going to catch your attention like some of the other fish do. But these did. I'm like, wow, I could stare at these all day. These look like little like highlighters running around the tank. And Steven even said, I told you to pick any plant you want, and you picked a baby sword. Any plant. Yeah, the problem is that we wanted that entire tank in your bedroom. Like just like drain it, bring it home, like no problem. That sounds great. It would have been one. Those plants are just huge. They look like they pretty much are just being fed with crack, like CO2 is their crack.
I really didn't want to disturb anything in those tanks.
Yeah.
They were so nice.
They're just so nice.
And it wasn't that I didn't want anything else. It was just like, I've got this problem with bringing stuff home when I know I don't have the ability to properly take care of it. And I knew that I could take that sword home and leave it in the bag because it's still in the bag. It's still there on the counter, though. I'm going to see it tomorrow. And then I might ask Layla to go plop it out in one of the empty bins or do it myself when I go check on the turtles. But I knew anything else that I took, I wouldn't be able to properly take care of it, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't want to. I don't want to take anything.
Sometimes
on.
you just like to appreciate some stuff
I
and
was-
not touch it.
I was so happy that we weren't really coming home with a lot of plants. Like at the very end of the show, I did a really great hey, everybody come over here, you need plants, and the whole table was surrounded. All the attention was on me, and I sold a lot at the very end of the show. So
I think it's funny. Jenna said, so we can't invite Grant to come sing at the fish show instead of talk about shrimp.
I was gonna say there's only one song that I'll sing, and nobody's figured it out yet. It is at the end of one of the videos. And I mentioned this one time, and Kurt Keeper made it a mission to go find it, and he never figured it out.
It's the worst song, the most annoying, atrocious song. And it's probably just coming from me because of how many years that I've had to listen to him sing that. And that's not even a good singing voice one. That is just obnoxious.
But I do it perfectly.
No.
I know all the words to the song. You can't.
So, Tank Girl said, any advice on growing aquarium plants outdoors in Florida?
So, I like to use a nice deep bed of substrates when we're using plants out in the ponds outside. 3 to 4 inches is great. And then I use shade. If you don't have shade, you're going to grow a lot more algae than you do actually grow plants. So the actual planted ponds that I actually enjoy are the ones that are under good shade. I don't really do the water change maintenance that I do on all of the other Neocaridina shrimp and everything else outside. I'll do, maybe once a month, or I might let the water go a little bit green water and stuff like that. And then when I want to move plants around, I'll do a 90% water change and fill it back up. But honestly, the Florida sun does so much wonders where you didn't think you could grow certain plants in hard water. But at the end of the day, there's just some plants that don't do well in the hard water outside in Florida. So for us, it's been finding out here and there what plants do really well and what kind of plants just kind of melt off. So outside, haven't had too much success with Lugwidia Dark Red or Lugwidia Super Red Mini. And the Repens does great. The Lugwidia Repens, it's a Florida native. So it does really well.
So Abstract said, after Aquashella, Grant has to do karaoke in Chicago. You might be able to get him in Chicago. Zach said, thank you for the banana leaves again.
Did you like how I got him into the box? I felt like
probably not,
stuffing
because
him in there.
honestly, he complimented mine so many times, and I don't see a compliment there.
Listen, I managed to get an entire leaf in a small box with everything he ordered.
Oh, okay. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Tube Dog said, got thoughts on moving to a bigger rack in my movie room. How many tanks high would you go with a 10-foot ceiling? I wonder how tall
5.
in Layla's.
No, that's 8-foot ceiling. 10-foot ceiling is right there. That's a 10-footer.
No.
Mm-hmm. I go 5 high. That's what we did.
You gotta get the tape measure.
Jaden!
They got them little tape measures in their little thing now.
They're 10-foot ceilings. I'll show you.
Passing one says,
You got the
2 shrimp in a breeder box. Sounds like a
Tape measure?
Beastie Boys song. I would listen to that for sure. Eric said, lurking and twerking. Never see you anymore.
Never
Glad
mind,
you joined
never
us. Hope you're doing good. I will say this was the best trip that I've had in a long time to Louisiana. Most of the fish shows can get really chaotic because of a lot of them being a little bit more busy. So it's nice to have this one a little bit more on the chill side. And it was just incredible and fun to be around people that are all positive and enjoying the hobby. And I enjoyed it a lot. Stephen P. Your kids are making friends all over the country. Yep. They enjoy it too. Like, they think they're famous. Today we were talking to his mom's. Okay, his mom's in town. The ceiling, not the rack.
The ceiling is 10 feet.
Okay. In the center.
Yeah.
So you got a flat ceiling that's 10 feet. I'm jealous. Because ours only
So
goes
10 high.
Yeah, so 5.
I mean, it's 5 high.
2, 3.
Sorry. 10 feet high, I'd go 5 rows.
Yeah. That's what we have in the middle
And-
of the living room. It doesn't leave much gap if you have slanted ceilings.
But here's a good way to measure how many rows you can get away with. From here to the next one is 17 and a half inches. So
this one's all
you got to think you're using
5.
maybe,
And there's the ceiling. We got like it's a cup worth at least.
So, yeah, there's at least 6 inches in between the tank and the ceiling, and then there's only a 2x4, so 3.5 inches of space underneath the rack before the bottom beam goes across.
What was I just talking about before you did that?
I don't know.
Oh, I can't.
I
That the
wasn't here.
family. Oh, so his back to the kids making friends around the world. The kids today were talking with his mother is in town, and we were talking to his grandparents and mother, and saying about how the kids think that the baby's coming out famous now because so many people follow us on YouTube that they think the baby's going to be famous. I thought that was so funny. Thank you so much, Dee Dee. Said congrats on Future Family Edition.
I just found out you live in the Carolinas. How come you don't see us at those shows?
She's
I never
a
look
busy
at the
woman,
boxes
okay?
when we ship out anything. And I just know you went to the Keystone Clash. So I was like, it's somewhere in that region, right? It's got to be. So back to me in the show.
Yes, yeah, so I can read. Sorry.
All right. So we had ice cream the first day, called it a day, woke up the next day kind of late, went out, and I don't think we got breakfast because we slept in a little bit too late. So we just grabbed lunch early, and I got lettuce wraps. I don't normally get lettuce wraps, so we found a good pho restaurant, but they had a bunch of other stuff. It was really good. Went back to the show, got everything set up and ready for the little expo. Shelby and the kids went and enjoyed the pool. The pool was really cool because it had an indoor section, but then there was a wall that you could swim underneath it and go to the outdoor section. So the kids really enjoyed that. I ran the booth for majority of the time. Shelby did come and help out once she was done swimming and beforehand also. So it wasn't all me, but it wasn't like I really needed help. It was a very not like
I just got
slow
bored sitting there.
show, but it was very consistent. Like every 15 minutes or so, there would just be a new group of people walking through. Some of them would just have no interest at all in shrimp and plants, and then there'd be a couple people asking questions. There's only one other vendor that was selling plants, so we actually did really well on the plants. Ray Aquatics brought some orange neocaridina because we don't have any of those available, and I told them don't hold back just because we're shrimp people. You guys are family, and he's got hundreds of them. So if you're looking for some orange neocaridina, reach out to Robert at Ray Aquatics, and he can hook you up. We were at his fish room after LRB's last weekend, and I didn't know he had that many shrimp. You guys sitting on a landmine.
Yeah, in every single
a
tank.
landmine. Oh my god, a gold mine. Wrong kind of mine.
Aaron said Caradina is a lovely girl's name. That's funny. So Richard, what's you're always gonna forget to call him, aren't you?
No. I explained to Richard on the live stream, so I don't know if he didn't hear, but it's just been a really bad week. The this week might be good once my mom leaves. I can give you a call, but I don't know if you're free this week. You just said you were free last week.
Christy said your gender reveal was super cute. Loved it. Thank you so much.
It did so much better than I thought because we do like little cheesy videos and stuff like that all the time, and then you go woo, take usually after like the 50 of you that are watching right now. Like you guys
support.
Yeah, you guys watch all the ones
Guaranteed.
that only mean something to us and you guys, and sometimes we're like, ooh, this is actually good.
Yeah.
Other people are gonna like it, and the video still tank. This one, I
Like
thought
this
for sure
trash.
maybe you get like 200 or 400 views of just the people who cared and wanted to find out. But yeah, it did really nice. I'm super happy with the way it went. We both had our own ideas on what we were gonna do, and then we kind of like did a mixed match of both of our ideas, and it came out really nice. We rehearsed it beforehand. Because like once you go back, once you do that to that tank, there's no going back.
Yeah.
Like,
Once you dump the shrimp in there, you know going back.
Culling that tank is a feeding situation, and there's enough gunk in that tank to keep them happy for a while before I think they're going to come out for even some of that shrimp envy. You know what I'm saying? So, but
really depends.
Yeah, thank you everyone for who reached out. Now, y'all thought you were done with that video. Now you know what the gender is, but you don't know the name. And we'll break it to you. We know the name. So nobody's going to give us any great ideas. However, you guys have fun, and if anybody guesses it, they're going to get a $100 gift card to our website, tgoeshrimp.com. And I know who I've told.
There's a couple people that do know.
So you guys can't comment. No cheating. Only guesses. And actually, if anybody guesses the right answer, there will be a serious detective movement
done on that one
to figure out whether or not you cheated or got some fed information, right?
We're gonna give them any hints?
No hints. No hints.
If you want to just throw out some baby suggestion names, that's awesome.
And nothing's set in stone, right? So if you come up with a better name than what we have,
we'll have to throw the other blanket away.
Yeah, there's a blanket, and then we'll tell Dante we're sorry.
Yeah. It's okay. We could be like, oh, was it gonna be your name? Passy once said, does he sing the song by Shania Twain, I Feel Like a Woman? I think you could pay him to sing it.
No.
And then Johnny, we did talk about this earlier, the shrimp for the background.
It is an extreme red King Kong with dragon's blood traits. And please, Johnny, forgive me for the lack of communication on Facebook. I'm not sure why my messages won't go through to just you. So
and
now,
I also sent him a message. It never went through either.
It didn't go through?
No. And I don't know if you got my message, but I screenshotted the fact that he can't message you because it says message not sent, like,
or cannot deliver. Cannot be delivered.
It literally thinks like you don't exist.
And so I send you emails and try to reach out to you or comments on your other posts and stuff like that. So please forgive me. I'm not ignoring you. I usually like to get back to people at least twice a day. I check my phone for messages on both Grant Eater and the Garden of Eater. Instagram, not so much. Use Facebook if you want to really get a hold of me. But yeah, you got your shrimp and snails already, I think. So, and you placed the order, so you got the message. But please forgive me. I can't send you messages.
Pepland Creek Aquatics, member for 19 months. Thank you so much. Says, is this song Amish Paradise by Weird Al? That one's a good one. No.
What is that?
What?
I don't know these names to the songs.
Are you not a Weird Al person? Did you see there's a new Weird Al one? I already know this song.
All right,
I could
play
just
it for me later or add it to my Spotify.
I cannot believe that you don't know this song, though. This is like one of my favorite songs.
Maybe I do.
Instead of Gangster's Paradise, it's Amish Paradise.
Living
in. Oh my gosh.
Don't know.
And Skipper is making pickles. I actually did make pickles for my dad for Christmas last year. I was so excited, and everyone used that brine for like weeks. They just kept putting fresh cucumbers in and using the brine again because I did it. Love pickles. Homemade ones are even better too. Stephen P says that fan blade is an inch away. Yes, it is. We cannot turn it on. I made the mistake of turning it on one day, and it was like you could see because if it was a good working fan, like it's good, but it just slightly rotates when it that like how they just slightly wobble, like they're not a brand new like tightened in fan. So I turned it on and it like goes to do it and almost hits the tank, and I mean you could hear it just like slice the tank a little bit. And I was like, no. I ran over here and I jumped up and stopped it. I was so scared. Jaden's room, we actually replaced the fan in his room because it used to hang lower and it would like it didn't wobble, but it was so close to the tanks that like we could barely feed the top tank. So I told him, I was like, let's go get, and it's the cheapest fan at Home Depot, to get a real small one with like little tiny blades, and it's perfect now. It's not in the way at all. So, and then Tank Girl said, "Can't." I didn't realize that there's that many tanks behind you.
Oh, yeah, it goes down too.
Yeah, there's another row underneath the couch. We have to move the couch forward. Like it's so funny when it's feeding night. But like Jaden moved the couch because he plays video games here at the couch, and he like has to move it so he can feed the rack. But it's not only this, but it's the rack behind it. So it goes straight through. There's 2 of these racks and then our kitchen table right behind us.
So there's 90 aquariums right behind us.
Yeah. And then to the other side, that's the rack of 100. And then the other rotation is our 55-gallon tanks, which there's 6 of them.
And the Fluval stacker in there too.
Yeah, in the little tiny corner, that's the
I'm going to put a
stacker.
tank right here one day. I just got to figure out a better electrical outlet situation.
Yeah.
I need, if somebody has an outlet that has a good enough cord with a lot of plugins that's pretty fire safe and good storm protector on it as well, send me the link, please.
Thank you so much, Toop Dog, for the $2 super chat. It says, yes, 10 feet all around the house, and thanks. That's so nice. I hate these angled houses. There's like 2 tanks on this rack that like we could have fit so many more on this rack if it was all just like a flat surface, like because we have 5 rows here. Yeah, so we have 5 rows here.
But then we could have added another 9 there.
Yeah, but it's crazy. We would definitely have a lot more in the living room if it was jealous.
But
thank you so
too,
much.
Dog.
Yeah.
I think maybe like next time we go to Dallas, maybe we should have like a little meetup in Louisiana where we all have dinner or something like that, and we can meet Toop Dog and hang out with Steven and Jenna again.
It'd be a good little stop. And Brooklyn, if she's feeling okay and up to it. Yeah, the first night was really good. The ice cream was really good. And it was nice for everyone to show up. Sorry, I'm multitasking very awfully.
The first day of the expo, it started at 5 o'clock. And this hotel had the slowest elevators we've ever been in, right? And I'm trying to get down. I see it's 2 minutes until start time. And it takes me 2 minutes to get the elevator. And then it's like a 5-minute elevator drop. Like it takes a minute for each floor for the elevator to like slowly come down. And so we ended up going ahead and getting down the elevator right at 5 o'clock. And I can see like a wave of rain about to hit the hotel. And I'm like, this is probably going to prevent some people maybe from coming today all together. Maybe they'll come on Saturday when it's open all day. It was literally open from 9 o'clock, 9:30 to 10:30. So it was a long day that day. But Friday it was just a nice, good little small crowd in and out. And then we went out for some really good Cajun food at Duke's Seafood and
Duke's.
Steakhouse. And I had a crawfish pie, crawfish gumbo, jambalaya, and hush puppies, and
The Hush Puppies, yeah. Jenna and Steven got to cringily watch how much stuff Hush Puppies I was eating. I'm like, I don't have these here where we are. Like, we don't have a restaurant. Maybe Red Lobster, but like our Red Lobster shut down, I believe. But we don't go to Red Lobster. So, but yeah, I made myself very sick eating them. Johnny said, I used to collect isopods as a kid, the ones that roll up in a ball, and I don't hear of aquatic isopods too rarely in the hobby. Was wondering if you could promote them more often for newbies like myself.
I absolutely want to. We've got a couple of videos that we're about to raffle off and take care of, and it's going to go Opaula, Sulawase, Neocaridina maintenance with some newts, as well as a Caridina maintenance video. And then I'm going to have a tank rack build video because as soon as we're done with Vegas, we will be going to nowhere for like a month. And that's going to be my time, basically. I've got to knock out all of my projects and get them all done and have everything ready so that way when the baby's here, I'm maintaining and keeping everything just afloat and going and not having to be in project mode with the baby on top of it. So the goal is to have that 500 aquarium mark. The 76 of them going into the garage will put us over that 500. I'm not worried about setting up any of the tanks in the garage at all. The ones that are set up are going to be it. I will have extra storage, though, and all those tanks that are on the racks will be set up in Shelby's room. So we'll get stuff off of the floor. I'll be able to work in there and do aquascaping and stuff like that a lot easier. We have been doing quite a bit of gigs where we've been aquascaping tanks and taking pictures of them and then tearing them down and then building another one. That's why we've got quite a few different videos on YouTube and inside that little photo box. And I didn't have time to go through all of the comments and see if there was a winner yet. I don't recall anybody having any correct answers. I could have missed somebody, but there is a Dragonstone video, and I asked how many pounds of Dragonstone do you think's in that aquarium? There was an answer not on the right video. So it has to be on that video. How many pounds of Dragonstone do you think are in there? The person that gets the right amount of pounds will get a free box of Dragonstone sent to them.
I guess we'll do all the giveaways next week too, because I completely forgot about the girl giveaway, and that takes me a little bit to compile everybody's name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well that one can't enter.
Busy,
that
I'm
one's
sorry.
done.
Yeah. Well, I'll see what date they posted it,
yeah.
so it doesn't matter.
And
which brings us to Living Dream Aquatics member for 17 months. Thank you so much. Says congrats on the baby girl, y'all.
Thank you.
And then Zen's a member for 26 months. Thank you so much.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Woohoo! 26 months. Hashtag girls rule, boys drool.
I just got excited because you've hit the 2-month or 2-year mark, and you get your second print coming soon. We talked with Sam. Sam said he's going to hold it hostage until I send him some Least Killies fish.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to get
That
the
won't be
Least
hard.
Killies fish to him when we get back from Aquashella, and then he's going to have that print for us hopefully in no time after that. And for those that are not a member yet and you would like to become a member, even if you don't wait a year to get a print, you can also look into Shelby's hair and you will get a holographic sticker from tgoeshrimp.com as well as a 10% off code to our website, tgoeshrimp.com.
Thank you so much.
.com sticker. I said the whole thing twice. I'm sorry.
Vibes Aquatics for the $1.99 super chat says best part of this convention ? Love the family of 5. Wait, 1,
All right.
2, 3, 4, Oh, we
I
are
know
going to
the
be a
best-
family of 5.
I know the best part of this convention because I want to use something like this for our own club, possibly in December for like the holiday giveaways and stuff
Now,
like
this
that.
is besides the company and the enjoyment of all of our friends.
Yeah, this is just different because that is all something that we kind of enjoy at each one of the shows. This is something that stood out that I've never done before. And what it was at the banquet, they gave everybody this funny money. Now, I wish I had some of it. It's out in the car.
Would you like me to go get it?
No, do you want to explain it and I'll go get it?
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds better. I'm too lazy to get it. So the funny money was actually each one of these speakers. Grant's taking too long to get out there, so I'll talk a little slower. I'm just kidding. Each one of the speakers was a denomination of the money, and one of them actually was a woman who sadly has passed away, but she was really great in the hobby, and it was so cool that they did want to remember her by. She has like an incredible talk. What?
That thing that birthed me took the car.
Oh, I forgot his mom has the car. That never happens. We never let anyone take
At least
the
I
car.
didn't make it out the door, but that's because I couldn't find the keys.
Normally, I would never let anyone take a car, but considering she let me borrow her truck the first time and I rammed into the garage, she could take the car anytime she wants. I just tapped it, okay? But continue.
Where were you on the funny money? I left. How can I
was
continue?
talking about how one of the bills was to remember someone that was great in the hobby. And
it was one of their past speakers back in 2019. So they were on the 50. Gerald was on the $1 bill, who is running the IBC show, the Beta show. And then the other speakers, I apologize. I didn't get to watch any of them. I didn't get any time.
Like
Shelby was
normally.
enjoying the pool, and I kind of was
I was not
pretty
enjoying it. The
steadily
children were.
busy during the entire show, just because every 15 minutes a new group of people walked through, and we had so many plants that it did keep me. And there was quite a few people. Got to meet Ty and talked with him for a while, and there was a couple other people from the fish store that I got to talk with that ended up buying all of our leftover shrimp and whatnot. But
You're going way out of
I know I just said, but I was coming back. I got this.
You journeyed too far.
But I was on the $100 bill, and it was really cool because at the end I asked Clay if I could have some of the funny money, and he's like, dude, you can take all of it. And I've got some ideas, but let me get back onto what was going on with the funny money. So did you talk about the trivia questions?
No.
All right, so they gave everybody a set amount of funny money, and then everybody sat down, they ate their dinner, and then they did the beta announcements, and then I didn't even realize like we had 3 people from our club because
It
he
wasn't
didn't go
part of
into
it, yeah.
the last bit.
Yeah.
He didn't get to Bill Little, and I would have noticed. I would have been like,
Well, they didn't even tell. They didn't even say Jessica McDaniels. Like I know they didn't say that. I would have noticed her name immediately.
so. After that, they had a, and this isn't the cool thing, but they had a actual auction for money, where if you nobody knew what was inside the bag, and however much money you spent on the bag, you couldn't show anybody else what was in the bag unless they gave you $1. And then it was kind of like suggested that you donate the money back to the club if you win it. Whoever pays $1 to see it, right? So I was like, I got $50 on a bag. Like, I'll play for $50, right? And I almost won. I almost won a bag, and then another guy outbid me by $1, and I was like, it's his, but I'll spend $1 to look what it was. And Layla wanted to see too, so I spent $2 so we could both see it. And I'm kind of happy I didn't win it because in the bag, I thought it was an empty bag, or an empty bag with just water in it, and I was like, "Oh man, that's funny, right?" And an angelfish book, which I don't know what exactly angelfish book it was. Maybe it was
I
like
have,
a
like, 4 of them,
$50 angelfish print
is that
on
good?
eBay. Maybe it was an antique. Maybe it was signed by somebody. I didn't really look at it after I saw it was an angelfish book. But in the bag was a single assassin snail. And I almost didn't see it because it was in like the knot where you tie the bag at the top. So that, for $50, in my opinion, was not worth it. And the other 2 bags though were for like $140 and $160 each, and there was some really rare plecos in those bags. So that was kind of cool. That was fun, especially to raise some money for the club itself. But then there was some trivia, and the trivia was pretty much questions on the speakers and their talks. My 2 trivia questions were, what was Shelby's first rule? I ain't gonna spoil it. If you want to know the answer to that, you gotta see one of my talks. Reach out to your clubs. And then the second question was, what is the easiest Caradina shrimp to keep? And it was kind of a broad question. The team that guessed it said Amano shrimp, which could be a right answer depending on who you ask. But my argument on why it's tiger shrimp, and specifically the tangerine tiger shrimp, was that if you have Amanos in your tank for 10 years and tangerine tigers in a tank for 10 years, which ones are still going to be around? And 99.999 of the people who keep Amanos don't get them to breed, and they don't live past 10 years or 6. I can't remember how long they live exactly, but my point is that you could breed this tangerine tigers and keep them going, where the Amanos you can't. Eventually, you're going to lose all those shrimp. So if you wanted to keep them, how long are we keeping them for? So that was kind of my argument. But like, it was my talk. I don't talk about breeding Amanos. I talk about keeping and breeding Caradina and Neocaradina shrimp. So they gave you extra funny money though if you got one of the answers correct. And then after the trivia, they had a auction using all of the funny money for not all the donated goods, because some of them still went in the main auction the next day. But there was a lot of good stuff in the auction. A lot of aquarium co-op filters that Shelby has been dying to get her hands on. Some of them. These ones had the new lift tube, which is kind of rare to get some of those at the club auctions, because he's trying to get rid of all the ones that don't have the lift tube. So it's understandable. We have some of the ones that don't have lift tubes already from that. And we traded some stuff, used some funny money to buy them outright. We won some in the auctions, but it was a lot of fun because you quickly notice that you're not going to have enough money to buy some stuff. So you kind of got to like use your friends. There was 2 ladies at our table who wasn't really interested in anything at the auction. So they just gave all the money to Sam, and Sam kind of gave all the money to us, as well as
he
Chance.
Can't fit anything in his bag.
And Layla was after a purse. So we kind of all threw our money in, made sure she got the purse, and that Shelby really got as many of the aquarium co-op sponges that we were. But I did mention Ray threw us a really big bone, and I realized he was also trying to get the aquarium co-op sponges. So at the end, I realized I'm not getting any more sponges. So I gave Ray all of our money. And then also we were teaming up with the other person that wanted the fish and we wanted the filters. And I said, you want some Indian almond leaves? I need $100 to win this. And they're like, do it. And then we won that. And then I realized everybody else was like pulling all of their money. I was like, $17.54 final offer. And we won it. So I didn't have $1 more. I didn't have any more alliances. I collected all the money because everybody else was saving their money for the final tank, which in the end, it went to a kid. Everyone kind of like, team kid, and piled all their money so that way they could win. But it was a lot of fun because like sometimes you can't afford to really buy anything. And I think everybody in the room, if they wanted something, ended up going home with something nice. So yeah, it was really like something that I've never done before. The trivia we've done, there's
Yeah, we do that.
Not
Christmas
a lot of
time.
ways to different spin trivias and anything like that, but like
You always sit with
awarding
the
with the
person
funny
you know
money
will
was-
know the answer.
yeah, and then like Sam, what's this person's name? You know everybody, and didn't
remember.
know the name, and I
He
was like,
couldn't remember.
how, Sam? You were our clutch hitter for this. He knows everybody in the industry. And then they go, yeah, Claudia so-and-so. And he's like, oh, yeah, Claudia. And I'm like, Sam, you don't get to pretend like you knew the answer. But no, I absolutely love Sam. Sam came through clutch at the end of the day on Sunday. So, yeah, I bought him some beignets and paid for his coffee. End of the day Saturday. And, yeah, like he said, he's going to come through and do the print for the 24-month members because you guys have been supporting us. It's been a great thing to have the YouTube community behind us, and that's why we thoroughly enjoyed hanging out with Steven and Jenna. The only other shows that we do are Aquashella and Keystone Clash, and Aquashella, Shelby and myself are running around with like I wish there was an extra 38 hours in each day so we could get everything done. And then at the Keystone Clash, that's Jenna and Steven. So we don't really get to have like good conversations and share stories and get to know each other. And the kids even got to bond at this show. We just wish we lived closer to people like that. I mean, we have some great people around us, but not the kid combos. Like they're at least 2 hours away.
Rusty said, I just bought some shrimp fit from Glass Garden. Have you used it before, and how much do you add? So we sell the shrimp fit. We have used it before.
I'm not sure off the top of my head how much to dose. It says on the thing like one scoop
Google
or something
that
like that
because they do
per.
it by different liters or something.
Yeah.
They do it by liters instead of gallons and something else.
So I know that 30 liters equals like 8.7. Oh man, it's been too long already. 7.9 gallons maybe. I can't remember. It's been too long already. So yeah, I Google conversion chart it, but I only usually feed it when we get new shrimp, and it's important not to overdo it.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's one of the videos I've been wanting to do is desperately do. Because so many people like that is like one of the biggest asked questions is Bacter AE on shrimp tanks. And people, if you go on to Glass Garden, they actually have a chart that shows you what to dose, when to dose it, and how much to dose during the week. And I want to do a video of a tank comparison side by side of doing their routine every week and doing what we do. And see if there's ammonia problems, see if there's other issues that arise and cause more issues for people. Or if it does help, if it mass produces shrimp all of a sudden. Because the only thing is that, you know, this is an overseas company. So they might have success with it saying that they don't have certain minerals in their water. But in the United States, we have a certain mineral in our water. So doing that same routine in our water might be dramatically bad for us, where it might be successful for them. Just like we have different water all over the world. So like Taiwan, they have their Neos come out with a different like opaque color to their shells. That's why you can tell.
In Indonesia.
Okay. And but like they definitely have a different mineral that the shrimp love. Like they do really well. I think they get a little bit bigger across seas sometimes. That's why when you get like shipments in and imported shrimp, they're usually really large, and like you don't see that here because it might be a lack of minerals in some of our water. So it's really cool to see. CSP said, going on the record to say you did not tell us.
Tell us what though?
The name. I don't think I did. I don't think. Maybe I mentioned it to Jenna. I know I told someone. I know Sam knows. I did tell Sam, so Sam knows. Sam is out of the play. Christy said our cat is named Dante too.
I almost said something though that I was like, I'm pretty sure we talked about it when we talked about this, but it would have been too big of a hint for everybody.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't. That's how I told Sam. I think that's how Sam found out. It is I gave him a big hint, and he was like, I can't. You're probably telling me exactly the name, and I was like, Yep, I am. It's one hint would give it all away. It'd be too easy. Johnny said it's no problem. Dina, Kara Dina. Grant threw that out there. I didn't like that one. It just didn't stick. Jeff said it's okay to go with Jeffreen. I will be okay with it. Johnny Best, $2 super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Johnny.
Always appreciate it. Elena. I actually had a friend named Elena. I don't see that. That's actually a really uncommon name these days, I think.
You guys are guessing on the wrong video, though.
Rusty says you should record these and put them out as podcasts. That is a good idea. I don't know how to do that. Maybe one day when I figure it out.
I think
it's
because
just the
they
recording
already are recorded here on YouTube, we can just
take the audio file
and do
zip it out.
It's maybe something that we could possibly do in the future when Shelby has some more time, like when she's on pregnancy leave.
Lawrence Kibler says, how big is your dehumidifier? It is our normal AC unit that isn't very big. It's the only thing that dehumidifies this place.
So one of the things I like to talk about is when Jason from Primetime Aquatics came to the house. He's been to a lot of fish rooms. Like, I don't know somebody that travels as much as he does, and he's not just like a YouTuber. He's a teacher. He carries himself very nicely, and he couldn't believe how clean and how like not humid and damp, and there was no smell when you walked into our house. It wasn't like, oh, it smelled like overwhelming of cleaner or anything like that. It's just the AC in our house is AC to 70, 72. It's getting a little hot. The heat index has gone up, so our AC does struggle. Sometimes it does get up to 74 or 76 if we're in and out of the house a lot on a day. And then the AC will catch back up in the nighttime. And usually the tanks don't fluctuate nearly as much as the inside of our house does. And we did get a point where it was a little damp, a little muggy in the house, but that was at around 150 aquariums, and I had maybe 10 lids on the aquariums.
Yeah,
and I made it a rule.
Without lids is very bad.
I made it a rule for every tank that we set up, I do 2 lids. Yeah. So if I built a rack for 36 aquariums, I bought enough material to make 72 lids, and then by the time we were at 300 aquariums, all the tanks had lids on them that didn't have like hardscape sticking out the top or a weird bow front or something like that. So,
not saying that a dehumidifier wouldn't make this house a little bit better, just because
it might help the actual AC
not have to work as hard. So we are having plans on doing that, but with like an air purifier, because we do have dogs as well, and I have allergies to my dogs, so it would just help me out a little bit. I was actually surprised I didn't have that bad of. I've too many animals this weekend too, and I am the worst when it comes to animals. I just want to hold them. I don't care if I have a runny nose all weekend. 2 Dog lives in Pensacola, so he's also a Floridian.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I thought you were in Louisiana.
Yeah.
My bad. Okay, so that's why he said. I think he's going to Daytona. My memory's horrible, so if that's wrong, I'm sorry too. But I'm just excited to meet you in person.
Yeah.
But we've been to several fish rooms where there isn't lids, and it feels like you walk into a pet store that has a lot of aquariums, and I see the need for dehumidifiers in there. And like, I'm not saying it's like a bad damp or anything like that. Like, you can just feel it's more damp in those rooms, even that have the dehumidifier. But for like LRB, he doesn't like the tanks that have lids. He does the whole plant thing that grows out. Plus, it's super easy to feed all of his aquariums when he doesn't have lids.
Oh, so much
I'm
easier.
protecting the house from future quesadillas. You know what I'm saying?
It's gonna be weird. It just hit me today. Actually, yesterday on Layla's birthday, that she's 10 years old. Like, looking at her, the things we were shopping for, like, I got her makeup, and it's just so weird. Like, she put it on. I love it. And just the things that we're getting, and I'm just like, we're starting all over, and it's been 10 years. Like, it doesn't feel like it's been that long. It goes by so fast, and it makes me so sad. The Zen Ginger said, y'all got marble slab, I hear. Their sweet cream is my favorite. I don't think they had one.
No, they had sweet cream, and I thought about it, but I went with the mango just because I wanted something like fruity. And usually we go to Cold Stone, and I had already had it in my mind. Like, I know when I go to Cold Stone, I get the banana ice cream, and I put strawberries and bananas inside of it, and it's just a fruity combination. I kind of had my taste buds and everything, set and ready. You know how like you think of a sour candy. All of you that have the same reflex as mine did, your mouth just got sour, saliva ready for like a sour candy to go in. You know what I'm saying? So like I was ready for something sweet, and my only real option there was to get the mango sorbet and put some strawberries in it. It was phenomenal because like sometimes you get sorbet and it's more like an Italian ice than it is like creamy. This was like more like an ice cream than it was even a sorbet. But I'm sure there wasn't any dairy in it, so that's why they called it a sorbet.
Yep, and I got the strawberry, and it even says it right above it, which is funny. I think it was Stephen P. that pointed it out, or Jenna, that when I was eating it, I was like, wow, this is incredibly good. And I can't eat that much ice cream. It kind of makes me sick. I'm lactose, so it's like a hit or miss whether something's going to make me sick or not. And it was really sweet. It made me feel like a kid again because that's all I used to drink was strawberry milk sometimes. And that's what it tasted like. And then they pointed out, it said right above it's world's best strawberry. And I was like, well, that makes sense. It is like the best strawberry I've ever had. So usually you get other places and it's like it doesn't taste like it. Just tastes like watermelon with like strawberry chunks in it, and it's just not what you're looking for. Bugsy Craftwork says, attended my first Caradina shrimp talk at my local fish club. Was great to see the interest at the club. Sad thing is I brought 6 really nice blue steel shrimp, and they sold for $15 at the auction.
So I have a very similar story. Is the first time that I brought Orange Eye Blue Tigers. I thought that they were going to sell really well at our auction, and they sold for like $1 a piece. And it was like to one of my buddies, so I wasn't that upset. But he was like lined up to buy some of them off of me for like a lot more money. And then he's like, yeah, I don't need that. And I was like, I guess I'm not getting a light for my aquarium this week. But yeah, it wasn't a hard shrimp to sell, but I wish I had sold them for $1 a piece at the auction.
And Bugsy said, do you find it harder to sell Caradina at auction than the Neos?
Yeah, nobody really knows what the Caradina shrimp are. And if they do know, they think that they're just going to kill them. So the best way is to just let people know in your club that you have Caradina shrimp, and you'll give them a better deal than like what you offer to other people. Like for us, for the most part, our local members, if they reach out to me and they want me to bring shrimp to them at the club meeting, I give them like $1 off per shrimp. Unless it's something that's like super tigers, I can't give you a deal on those. I've got like a wait list for them. It's top dollar, or they're going on to the next person, or like green emeralds. But for something we have all the time, unless it's $1 shrimp, I give them a good deal.
Zen, I saw you were posting about is there another person in the fish fam that's pregnant? And I don't know. That's pretty cool if there is.
Scoop Steve.
Oh, okay.
That's it though. That's all I know. I feel bad if it's
I feel like
else.
There's someone else now.
That's
I need to know. That'd be cool. But yeah, that's all I know too. So I'm excited to see Scuba Steve.
And I don't know if you all noticed, but I kind of bit off more than I can chew this year, and just have not had any time to really like watch anybody's videos or be in the same circle I was, like say when I broke my ankle. Like I would make time to like do a live with. We just did one with Vibes, but I would definitely make time to go and do one with like Chattanooga Ed or Rico Stan or or
it's
somebody
been a
like
while.
that, you should definitely reach out and do one with Foxy and Dee Dee one day.
Oh, yeah. I'm
But
bad at
like,
remembering things.
yeah, just I don't have time unless I schedule it ahead of time, which is the sad part. But I would make time for you again. Just reach out to me.
Rusty said, I've always thinking of new food for my shrimp. I thought I might try boiling shrimp shells from the grocery store and feeding it to my shrimp. Do you think it's a good idea? That sounds disgusting.
I mean, in theory, yes, but I don't know if they'll be able to like eat it right away and break it down on their own. Maybe you should like blend it up and turn it into a powder. I think that's all like dead shrimp powder is, or it's a bacteria too. I don't really know. I've never heard of anybody doing it, but like the crawfish molts and stuff like that, they just stay in the tanks. The crawfish eat them, the shrimp eat it. I got the hiccups.
Oh, great.
I know.
Christy said, best color Neocaridina for black substrate besides red, orange, and yellow.
Green?
Snowballs?
No, snowballs is just they
It's
look
the best.
horrible all the time. never snowballs.
It's always snowballs.
Unless somebody wants to know like the least amount of colors possible.
Those are the best three colors for it. Everything. I mean, for culling wise, I would put everything on black substrate because the darker shrimp that are on there, and you get those splotchy ones, I take those out. Yes, they'll change when you put them in another tank, and they might look really good. But you're gonna create like the best quality deep color if you have them all. So like the emeralds, the jades, everything like that color up really well on black substrate. So it's easier for you to start getting a better selection of shrimp that way.
I got one for you. Ready?
Huh.
I don't know if y'all have been to the website tgovshrimp.com recently and scrolled around in the Neocaridina section, but we do have a new shrimp that's back on the availability that hasn't been on the availability in many years since we started doing YouTube full time. So that would be the blue velvet Neocaridina shrimp. They are a lighter blue. They don't get deep dark blue like Dreams and Diamonds do, and they stay that nice sky blue. They're really nice. They're only $4 a piece right now at tgovshrimp.com. You know.
Plugging in.
And they look really good on black substrate. I actually don't like them on the samurai soil. I wish we had a really good Eco Complete tank set up and ready for them that I could do them on instead. But we've got them.
One of those tanks down there.
Oh yeah, they're already in that. I forgot. Yeah. So they're already booming in a 55. We've already got them moved into a 10-gallon tank as well as one of the 140-gallon ponds outside, which I don't know what's going on. I might have to change the airline tubing because it blew off the filter again.
That's weird.
Yeah, and I've done it 3 times now, I think,
it's
in
not
total.
Like
I really crammed it on there this time. Like I used extra twisting and extra pushing than I would have ever done. So that's my last shot at it before I just swap out the hose altogether. And there's no issues with any of the shrimp outside because right before we left for Louisiana, I moved a bunch of blue velvets and a bunch of the yellows. I caught all the yellows out of there except for like maybe one male, but I got all the
I
pregnant
definitely
ones.
saw one.
Yeah,
a minute ago. James said, hi, it's me, the guy with 4 kids with him at the show. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad you could join the live stream. It was so funny because I come back after, I think I took a nap, which is crazy for me at an event. I told him I really couldn't handle anything. And I'm like, I have to go take a nap. I can't stay up. And I came back from the nap and Greg goes, yeah, look, this is going to be me at the shows. Because he had a wagon with the kids, and then he's got 2 older ones walking around. And it was so funny. Like, it's just so excited. It was so cute. And fun fact, they breed Bengals, and that's like the one cat he'll let me have.
He told me that, but then we're on the ride home, and then she goes, oh, yeah, and he's got a snow one. And I was like,
all different colors. There's more. He's also got the charcoal ones, which are almost all black. And I didn't
Oh.
ask if you have the all black ones because those kind of look like jaguars, like little baby jaguars. So that would warm my heart because jaguars are definitely like my favorite of the cats. So
We might be in touch in the future.
we'll be driving up to get
She
it for
said
sure.
that you had some people that we can maybe do a little
Allergy
one-on-one
test.
test for Shelby. Like Steven's house has a few cats, and
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
No.
Yeah,
I was definitely like a little watery, but like, it wasn't as bad as it could be.
But I
you
think
know?
if you were constantly exposed to that,
Yeah.
eventually it would stack up, and you wouldn't be able to
Breathe.
take it. So we'd have to
We'd
have
have to
either
see,
a
yeah.
crazy outdoor enclosure before we took that on,
Yeah.
or Shelby'd have to be all right with it.
Yeah. Living Dream Aquatic said, "What is your guys' favorite lizard? I'm looking at getting my son one for his birthday."
All right. So my favorite lizard and what you should get your son is two different things.
Yeah.
If I were to get
For a kid though.
Yeah, if I were to get the first lizard for a kid, I would go with a gecko, a leopard gecko. I know it's not technically a lizard, but they are relatively easier to keep and take care of than like a bearded dragon. It's not as expensive to get set up and running. Jaden wants a snake, and one of the things that Shelby shouldn't really be taking care of the next couple months is the leopard geckos. And so I made a deal with Jaden. We just got him a new dresser for his closet, so that way the leopard geckos can get off the rack in our bedroom, since that's going to be turned into a new rack anyways. They had to go somewhere anyway. So we're going to go ahead and put the leopard geckos together in Jaden's room. He's going to be responsible for taking care of them, feeding them, cleaning the cage, making sure there's calcium in there and everything like that. We're going to have to get a nice breeding hut. We've made them in the past, but I think there's like enough like nice 3D printed ones that I'd like to get. So it looks good in there. It's easy for him to wash and clean. We made a homemade one with like not styrofoam, duct tape and a Tupperware tub. And it just the duct tape got just gross. So if we can have something that's not going to cut the leopard geckos as they go in and out of the hive, it's something that's actually designed for them. That'd be ideal. So we'll get him something. See if we can't get some eggs, and whatever eggs he can produce, and get some babies. We'll let him sell the babies, and then use the money to buy a snake setup and move on from there. But leopard geckos, too long.
Yeah. Yeah, that was like a ridiculous like whole life story for a simple question. Leopard geckos would be the best pet for a kid if they've never had reptiles.
And
if
go
they
with
have, I love chameleons. They're just a lot of more care.
Go with a heat pad, not a heat lamp.
Yeah. Yep. That's we have a vet tech that lives next to us and definitely helped us out with that. You just have to have this. If you do the heat lamp, it has to be the exact amount of distance away from it. There's a lot of pages that are really good. Leopard gecko care has changed over the years, where it used to be really common for us to just use paper towels at the bottom or the cabinet liners, and now it's more geared towards topsoil and sand mix. And then you need like 3 or 4 different hides, but they're super simple once you just put they're so easy to take care of. It's just very basic care on the leopard geckos for sure. And kids, they're like the least aggressive out of all of the reptiles. So like very easy to pick up. Just start with a baby. Do not get one that's like a bigger grown one, because sometimes the
breeders will sell
need to
off
know
the
the
ones
breeder.
at the end of their stock when they're done breeding, and they're at the end of their.
But they're also mean at that time, because a lot of breeders don't hold or handle them. I happen to get one that she does specifically teach them to be handled with. So you just need to know that person pretty well. Because my Peaches is like the best one, and then Rex I didn't hold enough, and he's a little monster. His name fits him perfectly, because he will try to bite my hand off, but he's just hungry. He's not like aggressive towards me. He just wants food, and he thinks I'm food. James said the sensitive fern is doing good so far in my axolotl tank. That's awesome to hear. I hope it does really well and keeps good. Bugsy says Carrie. Well, it's not a bad name. Oh, Chrissy said it too. Yeah, I know Grant's tried so many of the shrimp names. Nothing so far. If someone came up with a really good one, maybe. Because we also had Ebi, which is shrimp, and I believe it's, I can't remember if it's Japanese or Thai. Yeah, I think it's Japanese. Metallic Boas, welcome. Says, hey, can you guys talk about Red Devil and Red King Kong genetics, and do they come from wine reds? Give me a minute. I'll bring that back up for Grant because he's much better at the genetics. I can tell you some, but not enough to. He makes me look like I'm kindergarten level to his college degree in genetics for sure. Still learning. Nathan said, did they mention if they picked a name for the new baby girl? We have picked a name, and we have not telling you. We want to have some fun and see if anyone can guess the name. It is. I can't really give any hints because it would be too easy to narrow it down. But it is. I don't think anyone's actually going to guess, but it'd be cool. And if you want to give a suggestion, I mean, names can always change. Someone always could give us a better name. But you left right as I found a genetic question. And Metallic Bow says, hey, can you guys talk about Red Devil and Red King Kong genetics? Do they come from wine red?
All right, so Red King Kong and wine reds, these are the same exact shrimp. They're both Taiwan bees. The Red King Kong is just all red Taiwan bees in general. Then the wine red is just a specific color of the Red King Kongs. You've got the wine, which is like a little bit more of like a maroon wine kind of color, but not, honestly, not really. But it's different than the ruby Red King Kong. So like the ruby is that bright red color. Like I got a tape measure right here. You know, bright red. Doesn't come off on camera at all really well. I'm sorry, that wasn't a good example.
YouTube symbol red.
Yeah, so that would be ruby red, and then anything that's not YouTube symbol red would just be considered a wine. Then the Red Devil is a Red King Kong that has been crossbred with the orange-eyed genetics. So these have something that looks similar to a Tai bee base, but I've also created what looks like a Red Devil out of Hollow Eye Red Ghost and Orange Eye Black Tigers, which I think, you know, they could be a Hollow Eye mutation from the Taiwan bee genes, but I'm not sure what else you would want to know other than the orange-eyed Red Devils are going to be a hybrid of the Red King Kongs being the same of the wines.
I really think that's so funny. Are you done answering?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's the steam pots are also pregnant.
Oh.
We don't ever get to watch
Oh.
theirs because we're on at the same time. So we just haven't, like, we don't rewatch anything right now because we've just been so busy. That's insane, though.
It's not that I don't think I've ever rewatched Bob's, but like there's been occasions where I've been on time and ready for a live, and I'm like, well, why don't I watch Bob to kind of like get warmed up for our own live stream? But it's been a while.
But she did tell us, little Shelby the third. It's funny. It's a possibility the kid might have my middle name, but we're not dead set on that yet.
Your middle name? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I got it. I thought you meant your
it's not
name
even on
as
the
a
blanket.
middle name, and I was like, when did we discuss this?
Yeah, not my first name. My middle name is their middle name. It's funny. Aqua Stella. That's funny. Not a bad name, actually. It's just a little too much. It's a little complicated. Nathan said, getting hot at 74. Our house is at 76, the lowest. I would probably complain as soon as I walk in. And Aquarium Fitness is, my house is at 72, but my fish room is at 80. Yeah, there's a lot of fish rooms I go into, and it's like, it's humid. Oh,
If you're doing cichlids and warm water tropical fish,
makes sense.
yeah, absolutely. But I like my tanks the fact that they're cold stream water creatures that like the 70s.
Does anyone know what the steam pots are having? That'd be so funny if they're having a girl too. Hagen Hill says it stays around 80% in our room. 80 degrees in your room? That would be crazy. His grandparents have their like house at like 80, and I'm like dying. And the heat is making me swell during this pregnancy. So like I just look like a little cherry tomato anytime it's hot out. Like my whole body just turns red, and I'm already swollen. So um, a couple stream would be cool. Oh, like with the steam pots? I don't know if I'm lost on that one.
I don't think we know each other enough to do a live stream.
It's like the one people like we've never met in person.
They're on the other side of the country, and I messaged.
We probably have a lot in common, honestly.
I messaged Bob about doing a talk, and he said he doesn't have a talk, and I was like, "We'll put one together and let me know when." I don't remember.
Yeah.
I got a lot going on. I still haven't messaged Dan. Dan, or anybody of Dan's associates, if you're out there, please contact me at thegardenofeater@gmail.com. I know I can message him. I just haven't done it yet.
Our dog Coco is really all about Shelby when she was here. I love that dog, and it kept giving Grant this side eye the entire time he was talking. And then what was it you were talking about? And she's like sounded like
her or something.
She sounded like
you'll
she was
never get rid
arguing.
of it. It was like, "Bruh." I was like, you'll never get rid of it. I was like, okay, it's almost impossible to get rid of it. And then they're like, I was like,
sounded like she was arguing. Oh, I love that dog. It's so cute. Pseudotech Life said, B, trying to get Caridina for some months, and until your last aquascape, I realized been using shrimp B, GH plus KH, and my pH is never below 6.6 or 6.8. Just got some GH only, looking for better pH.
Make sure you do
Nice.
a massive water change,
Good.
though, to get that KH out. And you got to make sure there's nothing really in it. Like, I would personally, if there's something in the aquarium, I would take it out, put it in a bag, keep it in the bag, do the massive water change, get the water level, make sure that everything's nice and stable maybe for another day, and then add the shrimp in a drip acclimation as if they were going to a whole brand new tank. So that's kind of what they're doing.
Stephen P said, we have one old cat and two all in your business dogs. As soon as I went to use the restroom, came back, their other dog sat in my seat and was like, this is my chair. I don't know who you think you are coming here sitting. She was so cute. And anytime the kids walked in and didn't give her attention, she like pouted. She's like, It was so cute. Reminded me of our old dog. Like, if you did not give her attention, she was upset. She would like, oh, and she would like paw you. Our dogs nowadays, they just look like they're crying. So you literally will pet them regardless because they look sad as can be. They'll just sit next to you and look like the ASPCA commercials, like so sad, but they're fat. Like, it doesn't work very well. It just looks like you guys get everything you want. Rusty says, do female shrimp carry unfertilized eggs, or are they always fertilized when you see a female carrying eggs?
If they're buried, so if they're held down below, yes, they are always fertilized. I think there has been like a case where maybe like one of the eggs drops and it's not fertile. But like that's super rare, and chances are it's like probably a different type of shrimp when you're crossbreeding if you do have different color eggs rather than it not being unfertile. But yeah, if they've dropped and they're not in the saddle is unfertilized eggs, and once they're fertilized, the female moves them to the belly so that way she can fluff the muffins so the muffins don't go moldy.
Quick thing was, thank you, Lady R, for the congratulations, and thanks for joining us. So we just wasted Living Dream Aquatics time exponentially with your whole story. Says he has a veiled chameleon already, and it lives in a 7-foot tall cage. Nice. Not for something for a kid. So
My favorite, then, I mean, you already have the chameleon, so I don't want to say like a panther chameleon because those are like one of my favorite lizards.
Yeah,
My
panthers.
all-time favorite is a caiman lizard. Like that's a lizard, but it only eats snails. So
do not
I've
trust the
been
people that say
waiting-
dog food. Those
No, cat
those
food.
die.
They usually
die.
eat cat food when you buy them from like pet stores and stuff like that. And that's just because it's starving of good nutrition. Like eventually you'll eat dog food and cat food too in an apocalypse if you can't find fresh food, you know? And that's just basically what you're forcing them to. And they always look skinny. They don't ever really look that good. I've almost been tempted to buy one. I can't remember what show it was. Maybe Connecticut, and I'm holding it, and it's like guys like, yeah, it eats cat food, and I'm just like, yeah, it looks like it hasn't eaten a good meal in ages. Yeah. Like, I almost felt bad enough for it to just buy it and bring it home, but
he was trying so hard, and I'm like, we're not ready.
I know we didn't have anything immediately at home set up for it. I didn't have enough snails to be feeding it snails. We didn't have any. I really want to get a booming colony of Colombian snails in the garage, and hopefully by then Tom Crutchfield has a clutch of his, and I'll get some captive bred that are started on snails, escargot, like fresh ones from the freezer. Like, I want to put the time and effort to feed this guy the right way, but also have fresh snails for it all the time. But then you can also get them to eat like a seafood mix of like shrimp and squid and crab and stuff like that too. So I would be interested in
people feed them mice
in that if you can get that, you know.
Yeah, I also, in between that, I really like the crocodile skinks. I think those are really cute. I have never been able to personally own one, but I know a lot of people that do, and they do enjoy them. So that would be one of the ones that I want. I just think they're adorable.
But then there's some really cool day geckos too. Some of the blue ones, there's some blue and green ones that get a little bit more personable and are just shy all the time. And you can like hold them around on their finger. Can't remember for Vidii, or maybe it's probably not even close.
Yeah. Knife Sharks has just got a Schneider skink, and it's a freaking puppy. We had set up a cage, and I wanted skinks so bad. Not skinks. That's what I'm getting confused. I'm thinking of a monitor. How did I mix up
tree
a
monitors.
skink and tree monitors? Completely different. But like Jaden was also like really grabby at this age. And I was like, and then I saw that they do bite and they can be aggressive. And I was like, this is something for when the kids are teenagers. I will get them because they will know better not to stick their fingers in the cage. Ruby is the name you choose. Ruby is our daughter's birthstone, so I probably would not choose that. Lady R says, Grant and Shelby, I've been breeding some of my Bloody Mary and Blue Diamond Neos and are producing some pretty dark offspring. Any advice of what to look for?
So when it comes to the Blue Diamonds, you're pretty much culling more blacks or really dark offspring than you are culling the light blues and like splotchy patterns or lilies, right? So you want to remove everything that isn't like the blue on my hat. Like that's ideally the color of the Blue Dreams, Blue Diamonds that you want. And it is just a matter of removing the dark ones. It's the same with Green Emeralds. The reason why you're having that with Bloody Marys also is because they are from chocolate descent, just like the Blue Diamonds. So in order to stay on top of quality, you basically keep the ones that look the best and get rid of the culls and get rid of the ones that are too dark. They're culls also. So it should, though, be less culls than like working with a batch of Blue Dreams.
And then she
or
said,
red cherries.
regarding looking for purple offspring, best ways to determine ideal coloration. Thank you and congrats again.
So purple's one of the trickiest colors. Like a lot of times they'll look purple in the morning, and that same shrimp will look in its best color by the end of the day. And then sometimes they'll look purple as juveniles or babies, and then as they grow up, they gain that maturity on pigmentation, and they're back to what red or blue color they really should be. So ideally, you'd want to like remove them into a breeder box or another tank all by themselves, and just keep selecting the purplest of the purple and the ones that stay the purple the longest until you get purple. But that's not something that's been done yet.
Zach says, what is the difference between aquachar, activated carbon pellets, and organic lump charcoal? I assume they all have very similar properties. I haven't seen anyone use lump charcoal. Seems the same.
All right, so I actually can answer this one. Activated carbon is basically carbon that I don't know if they roll it or whatever, but it's dipped in a resin that is activating it. And over a month of time, the activated carbon will break down into like a dust. If you get those like filter combos, and in the combo it comes with like a sponge and some media and then like a sack of activated carbon. That activated carbon will help clear out the water and stuff like that. Rinse it first because there's always some dust to activated carbon, but it will kind of clean up that water. But after a month of use, if you don't pull that bag out and replace it with a new bag, it turns into dust and it can end up all over your aquarium. And like there's never going to be any use out of it. It's done its job, and you know it's kind of like a money pit. If you can just maintain your tank properly, you don't need that in there. Again, it'll do the same thing as aquachar when it comes to removing toxins. It can also remove medicines and stuff like that too. So you got to be careful with having it in your tank all the time. So I recommend using aquachar as a medication just like that to remove toxins. Leave it in the medicine cabinet. You can use it. Once you use it, you can leave it in the aquarium forever, and it's not going to turn into dust or powder like the activated carbon will. After 6 months, you can actually pull it out of the water. You can charge it with hydrogen peroxide and reuse it again and again. I'm not sure like how many years of uses you can get out of it. Eventually, it is going to break down. Like it isn't a permanent structure, right? And then the lump charcoal, aquachar is made with a certain pine, so that way its structure and everything like that has the maximum amount of surface area, porous holes, so that way it gets the maximum amount of efficiency, as well as the process that it goes through. It creates more actual carbon in the product than your just normal lump charcoal. So the lump charcoal could be a softwood, it could be a lot of different things, where aquachar is a targeted process of a targeted wood, so that way you get the actual reusability with the hydrogen peroxide. You might get very similar results with lump charcoal, but for how long or will it work as nearly as well? Will it break down in your aquarium and create a mess? I haven't messed with lump charcoal. And the only reason why I even used the aquachar was because I literally was like, it's midnight. I can't go to a store and buy activated carbon, and all these shrimp will be dead by the time anything does open up. So I threw handfuls of aquachar in the tank, never looked back, and those tanks are still booming with shrimp today.
Andy said, hi, if you're trying to produce as many shrimp as possible, when is the optimal time to split off your colony?
So really it's as soon as possible, because if you have 10 shrimp in the tank, they're going to breed relatively fast. They're going to grow relatively quicker. If you have 20 adults in the tank, they're not going to breed and grow as fast. It's not going to be that drastic of a measure, but like if you can split up your groups, ideally you want to break them off as soon as you have enough for 2 colonies. I like to do 1 to 2 shrimp per gallon before I split them off, but You're better with all of your eggs in more than one basket in case something does happen. And also, once you split them off, one tank might thrive and boom. The new tank that you split them off, it might be that one, and then you get more breeding in the second tank than you do the first tank. So I always try to split them up as quickly as possible.
Bugsy said, "What can I do with the extra trumpet snails I have now?"
Leave them in the aquarium, bring them to aquarium club, sell them off, post them for sale on one of the band groups. I don't really do anything with the extra trumpet snails. We sell ours, and then there's tanks that have too many trumpet snails, and eventually they'll stop producing babies, or there won't be enough minerals for them to like really grow and survive, and have the baby survival rate of the snails. So they kind of like just balance themselves out eventually. Like there's like some people like, oh no, there'll be millions of them if I don't take them out, and it's like you're probably like way overfeeding your aquarium if you've got thousands of Malaysian trumpet snails.
Yeah.
Like the overpopulation tanks that I see online, you can also see like half an inch of uneaten food in front of their aquarium.
Yeah. I mean, I have several of our tanks have a lot of them, but they kind of like disappear. And then they'll come back out for like food and stuff because normally they're supposed to be in the substrate. So if there's so many, they're all over the glass and all over the substrate, it's overfeeding. Just leave the tank for a little bit without them eating.
Except at nighttime,
go
I
back
do
down.
find that like a lot of the Malaysian trumpet snails will come out on the glass at nighttime to eat
Yeah,
that biofilm.
and in the morning they'll go back
And
down.
nocturnal.
Yeah. Big Steve says, I want to get a neon day gecko flusuma, I think. I don't know what those ones are. Have you seen those?
Maybe. I don't know my day geckos like that. I just see, oh, that's a really cool one, and I'm just going to take the advice from Eric at ZoomEd on which ones I should get.
Lady R said, will do, Grant. It's definitely an experiment, but I'm having fun with it. Abstract. What are those little freaky geckos with the scorpion geckos? Remember their tail like whips up?
Oh, yeah.
What were those? Were they
scorpion
scorpions?
tail geckos.
Oh my gosh.
Those were
if
really
you could
cool.
get those, I would
I think
recommend
I filmed those too and never put the short up. I might have to go look
we were
at my
so
global.
busy. Yeah,
Those
scorpion
were
geckos. They're like the most they're the most adorable thing that's not showing at all. Their tail like goes up and they like whip it back and forth and they're very friendly.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're friendly or like they're like coming to attack you,
No,
but those things are so cool.
I think they held them.
They're expensive as can be. They're like 200 something a piece.
I don't
And they need like a group, right? Zach says, great answer. Good to know about the activated carbon breaking down to powder. That was a ridiculous long explanation. I'm surprised you didn't fall asleep.
I'm sorry, but like
no, it was great. I'm just
at first I couldn't really tell people like what's the difference between this biochar that I buy and this aquachar. And I got asked the question enough that I finally asked Brian, and I was like, "What's the difference?" And he was like, "Well, it's the type of wood and the process that we use, and you're going to get a better result out of it at the end of the day." And he has had biochar and some of these other charcoals sent into labs for them to test, and it's like 100x or something like that on some of the results differences on how much absorption power the aquachar has.
So, Dixon says I'm terrible overfeeder, so am I. It doesn't matter. I always think that my fish are too hungry, or sometimes the shrimp. I do better on the shrimp. Sometimes I can't see very well, so I forget that there's food in the tank, or I don't see a piece of food and overfeed, but we all make mistakes. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. But Big Steve says satanic leaf tails are cool, which this is it. And I don't know if anyone else has seen it, but they like Photoshop this and put dragon wings on it. I did not know it was a real thing because they did that. So that's pretty cool to see that. That thing is.
Know that?
No, I didn't know it was actually real because I've always seen the
No.
edited one.
Yeah, when that first came out, I looked it up right away.
Those
that's
are
clearly
cool.
Photoshopped, but what is it?
Pokemon Dr. Anthony said, "Did I win a giveaway?" We have not done a. Next week will be the giveaways for sure.
You did. You won a free trip to Paxco Aquarium Societies to speak for us in November if you want.
Lady R said, Grant and Shelby, do either of you know a reputable corn snake breeder that will ship a snake? I'm on the hunt for a female of the strawberry morph variety. I do know one that is good. I don't know if she will have those. Give me a minute and let me find her name.
I don't know who you're talking about. Is it the axolotl lady?
No, this is a... Oh, man. She works out of Florida. It's someone recommended me that's in the reptile hobby about her, but I'll get that to you as soon as I figure it out. I don't know if she does corn snakes specifically, but I will figure that out. If she doesn't, she will know someone that does. So
yeah, we're not really big in this snake morphology of any of them.
Yeah, but strawberry sounds cool. They must have to be like a pinker color to them or something. Stephen P. I can't not feed the puffers when I pass them. They're so cute.
There might be a short of that eventually.
Dr. Ennis, I'll be in Peru next week. All right, we are back caught up. I have to use the bathroom, and I'm going to find that lady's name. I can't remember her name off the top of my head now.
Good luck with that.
Thanks.
The only other thing that I kind of wanted to talk about briefly was the American Shrimp Contest in Chicago. The Aquashella Chicago is pretty much the next thing that we're gearing up and getting ready for. We've got the Shrimp Contest. We've got the Aquascape Contest. We'll be running a booth. We'll be scaping for Carib Sea. We'll be doing tanks for Fluval. We'll be doing tanks for environmental aquatic aquariums. That's probably no. There's bio. No, I don't remember the name of their store. Can never get that one right, but we're scaping 4 aquariums for them as well, with Aqua L and Pisces. So Aquashella Chicago's going to be a really big show for us. Shelby's going to be a little bit more pregnant than she is now, of course. So we've got a little bit more on our hands than usual. We've got some great people, though, that are in Chicago area that help us out. And we, of course, main thing we're there for is the shrimp contest. We do have this new thing going on with the website. We did a video on that last week. If you want to go ahead and check that out, AmericanShrimpContest.com. There is no "the" in front of it. It's just AmericanShrimpContest.com to sign up. Because everything was so last minute, there isn't a lot of entries on there right now. So if you've been thinking about entering before in the past and don't think that your shrimp are gonna, stack up to the competition, this might be your chance to get on the podium and show the world what you got. So we will have Crypt Keeper there. He says he's going to do a live stream of all the shrimp this time to show them all off and give everybody credit. It's just one of the things to get the hobby out there. So we enjoy doing that. And it's good to show off your shrimp and show maybe a variety of shrimp that somebody has never seen before and never even knew that freshwater shrimp were of that variety. So that's the main reason why we do that contest. So really looking forward to that. It's just around the corner. We're also going to take pre-sales for that. So if anybody wants something special for the show last weekend, we didn't bring like any Caridina. I was surprised how fast we sold the crystal shrimp, and then people were asking for the crystal shrimp like the entire show. So definitely should have brought those. or more of those, but we didn't bring like any Blue Bolts or Steels or Pintos or anything like that. We'll have some of those with us for Aquashella. But if you want like Sulawesi or something like that, you can let us know. We can make sure we bring those with us. And then just in case you won't be there until like Sunday at the end of the day, we can put aside a bag of yellows or reds or something like that for you. So then Lady R said, yeah, they have overall richer coloration compared to the normal morph. Gorgeous red coloration in particular.
I found it. That took me way too long. So her name on Facebook is Kayla Bell, which is Queen of Kings. I'll show you the picture. Hopefully you can screenshot that real quick. She does a bunch of different morphs and like some crazy stuff. I actually met her through Chris Biggs for isopods and then realized she was mainly like a snake person. So I just watch all these snake heps and stuff. So she would probably be able to help you overall. Juanita. I was actually laughing. Actually, it's we were driving through, and for a girl's name, I thought it would be funny. It's I'm getting it confused now because I heard it on the GPS last night. Pascula is the play, but I thought that it was Pasquela. I was like, that's a great name. I like it, but Grant didn't. Have a good night, Christy. Matt says, you ever get an unexplained death like a juvenile with no clue why, and all shrimp and snails have been okay since?
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of part of the life cycle. Like, kids die at a younger age from natural causes. It's very uncommon for them to die, like of a heart attack or something like that. But, you know, shrimp can be missing a valve on their heart or something like that, have some issues with molting, get stuck. It's just one of those things where that's why baby survival rate isn't 100 all the time. It's never going to be. So you get unexpected deaths just because the shrimp aren't as fit as their counterparts. They didn't get enough food to get through that molt or something like that. So
I don't think people have done enough genetic testing to know if interbreeding ever causes issues like that. That you could have like a smaller hatch rate or something for them, because we don't know any. No one's ever done the research if that's
I'm
ever
sure
an issue.
that's kind of like visible when you're breeding out, and if you have less and less babies, you can kind of figure out your baby survival rate as you're doing it. So especially when you're selling Tangerine Tigers and you only have 4 females producing babies and you're selling 40 a week and you're just barely holding on.
Zen says, you think you have a little bit more on your plate now. Wait until there's no sleeping with a new baby either. He's pretty lucky with the new baby because I take care of the baby for like he literally has to fight me for the few first months to like take care of the baby, because I usually just end up taking care. I mean, not to obviously he takes care of the baby, but he doesn't lose as much sleep as he did with Jaden, because Jaden was a very hungry baby constantly and bottle fed, and that was such a pain. I'm very lucky to say that I didn't have to bottle feed Layla, and it was 10,000 times easier because of the amount of washing and desanitizing the bottles, warming them up, and just like so much pain. He definitely helps me the first week. He definitely does not get some sleep. So Keystone Clash, please bear with him, because
where's Grant? I think he's still sleeping.
Yeah. The diaper changing and stuff like that, I need some help because I can't move as much. But my mom will be here, so hopefully Grant will be able to get some sleep and be able to be well rested for the show. He just has to put everything together by himself, so that's going to be miserable, and I'm very sorry for him because I always catch all the Neos, and that's a big job. If I could shuffle my way out there, I will try to do the best I can.
I think what it is, though, is we did this with the first 2 kids.
Yeah.
and it was super easy. And I don't think some couples do this. I think some couples are like, it's your turn to go wake up and take care of the baby. And instead, what me and Shelby do is she kind of does nighttime schedule, and then I just help out as much as I possibly can during the day to make sure Shelby gets as much sleep as possible.
So I'm a good nighttime person. Like, I'm easily to stay up and just watch a show or things like that and distract myself. He's not very good at, like, I'm a night owl. So it worked out really well that I'm more of a night owl. I have converted him to a night owl a little bit with the live streams, and then like
as long as
just
I
getting
get
things
6
done.
solid hours, I'm good. And Shelby's capable of making sure I get those 6 hours. At least she did that for both of the kids the first time, because back then I did landscaping, and if I didn't get a solid 6 hours of sleep,
Oh, yeah.
I was dragging the next
first
day.
couple weeks though, I felt bad for Grant. He was helping me. That was my first major surgery with Jaden, so I will say Grant was definitely
I was
a very big
incapacitated because
help.
my back went out.
Yeah.
I slept in the worst hotel or hospital pull-out love seat style thing, and it was super thin on metal bars, and I didn't realize how old my back was compared to the rest of my body at that time.
Antoinette, Dr. Anthony, that is too long. I like it. It's not bad. There's a see, for a boy, I thought Bartholomew would actually be a good name, but I was like, you know what? I don't think I can even spell it. That kid's gonna hate their life for the rest of their life, even though it's like a great name. I even told him a middle name Bartholomew would be funny because no one ever asks a man what their middle name is. So just having like the most thrown off random name. But Antoinette's not a bad name. It's just too long for me. Zach said, will the caiman lizard eat mystery snails? I have plenty and have been thinking of ways to use them as cargo. For sure.
Yeah.
And that'd probably be really good for them because of how hard their shell is. It would probably be really good. It's probably like one of their main in the wild that they would actually eat them apple snails, especially when they get to like a big size, full grown. Big Steve says, do you have any experience with Seachem Gray Coast substrate for Sulawesi?
I didn't even know Seachem had
Me
this substrate.
Till I read it a minute ago.
Pull it up, Shelby. Google it.
See, Dr. Anthony says animals have less problems with interbreeding, which is really, really strange. But I understand that because that's how you get purebred dogs. So it makes sense. I just didn't know if that was for all animals or if that was just for like dogs, cats. Dixon Design says, how long do neocaridinates live?
So this depends on temperature. If you keep them really warm, they can live like 2 to 3 years. But if you keep it like on the cooler 70, 72 degrees for their entire life, they could live like 3 to 4 years, maybe even longer. I've never really cared about an individual neocaridina that long to figure out whether or not they can live longer. I have for tiger shrimp. We've had some tigers live for like 6 years, but we've never tried the Gray Coast. Maybe I've seen it. It just looks so similar to the Aqua Vitro bags, but
it's like dirt.
Yeah, it looks like black diamond
blasting sand. Could you imagine if that's what they do?
So
that would be terrible. No, it's like a calcium. It says.
No, we haven't. We haven't given it a try, but maybe I'll have to talk to Sue at Seachem because she'll be at Aquashella, and she just realized that it was our kids, that they belonged to us at the last show. She's like, I see them everywhere. I had no clue these were your kids. And I was like, yeah. I'm usually running around and they're attached to her the whole time, so she's just never seen us all together at the same time.
I find it funny when so many people thought I had more kids than I did because, like, at some of the shows I like had my nephew and my sister, so I thought I had 2 more kids to begin with, and they're like, "Where are your other kids?" I'm like, "What do you mean? You think I just leave 2 of them behind?" But then again, in the future, we'll probably have 2 kids at the shows, and 2 of them will be left behind. So it'll be funny because the toddlers will probably come with us. Because watching 4 kids, who wants to do that? That would be a lot. But our 2 kids are manageable until the other 2 could take care of themselves. And then our kids will probably be old enough to take care of them. Steven said I was the night shift, Jenna was the day shift. I see that. I could see that. You seem like a night, and Jenna seems like a day person. And then Zen said I had to be the nighttime person because my hubby could sleep through a hurricane and I couldn't listen to them cry. You know, it's crazy. I am actually one of the deepest sleepers. Very hard to wake up, but when I have a baby, like mother's intuition kicks in, and I'm very alert. So I don't. There are nights where I probably had to tell Grant that I needed some help because I was beyond exhausted, and I know that I would be hard to wake up, but yeah, no. Garcia Aquatics, welcome. Says member for 21 months. Thank you so much. If you ever got your print, you need to email us your address. I don't think we've ever sent your 12-month membership print.
Unless you got it in person. I might have given it to him when he was in Coral Springs.
I always forget. I just want to make sure everyone's taken care of. Says, well, hello, Shelby and Grant, and everyone in chat. Thank you for joining us, Garcia. Hope you're doing well.
I just remember running to their booth so many times at Coral Springs because they had all the little tiny stuff for Layla.
Oh,
they had
she was
necklaces
having
for
so much
you.
fun.
So
have a good night, Zen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
I think we're gonna run too. I just yawned and I was like,
so
how am I still
Oh,
awake?
it's exactly 2 hours. So
it is
we made
perfect
it.
timing.
Oh, Penelope. Cute name, but our neighbor's
Yeah,
name
it's our
Penelope.
neighbors. So thank you everyone for hanging with us this week. Next week, hopefully, we'll have some announcements for those giveaways. And till then, thanks for watching.